buy raffle tickets a little bit later. So I wanted to, before we get started real quick, welcome Nor, and I'm trying to remember your last name. Pardon? I'm not going to be able to say. Who was the winner of the local civic speed competition that occurred back in March, and so she and her mother, and are these your sisters, are here to for us to recognize her and congratulate her on that. And your next step is you go to Albany with the end of this month, is it? Yeah. So we'll be rooting for you. Good for you. So if you feel comfortable a little bit later, if you want to say anything, you're fine. You don't have to if you don't want, but good practice for you.
It was very difficult for those of us that observed. We couldn't answer the questions in the second group of questions.
Yeah. And the woman who was our league member, who was one of the judges, Sharon, she wasn't able to be here today, but I know she was one of the judges on the day of the event that was there. So today we're excited to have Aaron Woodman as our speaker. Aaron, some of you may know Aaron from other engagements that you have. He's from Utica, lives in Utica, has always been in Utica, and has been involved in the Mohawk Valley Junior Frontiers. He graduated from University of Rochester and has had a whole range of experiences, which I imagine he'll kind of touch on. He is involved with the NAACP, the Civic Engagement Committee chairperson. Did I get that right?
Yeah, well, former.
Former, okay.
Now I'm the vice president, but
Vice president. Oh yes, I see that, yes. And so he's going to talk to us a little bit about some of the civic engagement kinds of things that he's involved with. One of the areas that we're particularly interested in, not exclusively, but particularly, is engaging youth. So I think it's appropriate to have Nora and her family here. But just other things that he's involved in. And as we talked earlier, this is a very informal kind of conversation that he's hoping to get some audience feedback and input with during his presentation. So I'll let Aaron go on, and thank you so much.
yes, thank you so much, and I appreciate you inviting me to come to this meeting to talk with you all. So as she just mentioned, my name is Aaron Woodman. I am from Utica, New York. So in my speech, I'll start talking about who I am, the work I have been doing in the community, and the work I'm looking forward to continuing to do in the future. And then we could have the discussion as she was talking about ways to get our local youth involved. So I grew up in Utica. I went to Watson Williams Elementary School. I graduated in 2013 and went to Utica Academy of Science Charter School when it first opened during that year as well. So I'm one of the original students there. And I graduated there in 2019 with an Advanced Regents Diploma and as a valedictorian of that class. And then I went on to University of Rochester, where I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science. And after that, I did some campaigning work for Dr. Clemmy Harris, who's a Utica University professor. And after a few months, then I worked with the New York State Democratic Committee as a constituency organizer, where I was helping out with our now Congressman John Mannion during his campaign. And during that time, I was working at a social equity consulting firm called Hilda M. Jordan Consulting, or H&J Consulting, as an executive assistant, where we were mainly working with the Utica City School District during their System of Cares program on helping the students be empowered to believe in themselves and believe they're capable of achieving their dreams, making sure they have access to resources to make sure they succeed academically and professionally, helping to transform their lives and really making sure that they have the tools to succeed in their life too. And then after the 2024 election cycle, I've been working on a Changemaker project where I've been essentially trying to gather like all the important skills and knowledge that I believe are really important for being civically engaged. So essentially I divided this up into like 7 sections. The first section is about making sure that you know like what civic engagement means, like what's the overview of it, how do you know like what's important about it and why it's important to be involved. The second section is about institutions and systems of government, which is where you want to understand like how does our institutions work, because they allow us to essentially participate in our society. Like you understand like our democracy, that's important for making sure our voices are heard, our constitutions, which is essentially laying out the rules of how we can participate in society, and then understanding our branches of government as well. The third section I did in that project is essentially talking about our civic identities, making sure we know like what kind of contributions we want to make in society and what roles as citizens should we have in our everyday lives so that we're having some positive contributions in our society here. The fourth section is about information literacy, making sure that you know the information that you're consuming, because there's a lot of information out there that's being spread about certain things. You want to make sure that it's correct. So it's understanding the media environment, understanding like the digital environment when you're going online and checking sources out, and then also understanding misinformation and disinformation, understanding like why like that's important to know about, why it's a problem, how we can combat that. Another section I'm doing is the speaking and dialogue, because we communicate with each other a lot, we share things with each other, we meet different people, so that's public speaking. Networking and building relationships with people, and then understanding how to handle conflicts and disagreements too, where we don't want to have like our disagreements turn into conflicts that end up relationships with people, because if we care about each other, we want to make sure that we understand like where the disagreements are coming from and figure out like how can we come to resolution on that. The next session is about collaboration and mobilization, where you're doing community projects together. You want to know how to manage those projects as a team, so you want to do some team working skills. The next is about advocacy, where you're advocating for yourself and for your community. You want to be able to like rally people together. And then another thing is also grassroots organizing, grassroots campaigning. Another is also running for public office too as well. That's because given like my experience with being a deputy campaign manager for Clem Harris and a constituency organizer with the New York State Democratic Committee, I wanted to like take those knowledge and skills and put them together in how you like campaign and how you like get yourself out there and talk with people. And then the last section is about self-care and self-worth, because you want to make sure that when you're doing all this work that you're taking care of yourself, you're believing that your voice matters, because there's people out there, like some bad actors, who want to tell you that your voice doesn't matter, your voice is not like important here, and you shouldn't even, like, you don't belong here. So you want to think highly of yourself. You also want to think about the time that you're giving to other people, because if you're doing a lot of things, you don't want to stretch yourself out too much. You want to make sure you know like what kind of time commitment can I give to this thing and that thing, so that I know like, okay, I'm not stressing myself out so much. And then also making sure that you do use your political power effectively. We don't want to have like a situation where we're having power concentrated into one section of the population where they have a lot of money and wealth and influence too. We want to make sure that you all use the power that you have right now to make the change that you can, and that involves collaborating with people, understanding how to navigate the structure of our political system, and being able to go to those decision makers and say, this is what we need for our communities to be successful too. So I've been like I started this in February. I've done like the research phase, and now I'm doing like the outreach of where I'm talking with people and setting up like meetings and doing some presentations with them. And I have like a presentation I'm doing with the Rome Connected Community Schools later this month, where I'm going to be like talking with the high school students about information literacy on the disinformation and misinformation aspect. And I'm also working on doing some college presentations this summer as well, because last year I've done 4 presentations for college students on different civic engagement topics, because I believe like as college students it's very important that they understand like how can they like be involved on campus and take those skills when they go outside of the community. And I want to keep that going, as well as expand this to high school students, because once they graduate they become like independent adults too. So I want to make sure that they know like how can they be involved in our society, how can they make positive changes, and how can they navigate our structures here too. So that's like the work like I am like looking forward to like doing right now, and the more I like talk with people and making this guy like more like official and seeing what other people's needs are, because I'm talking with those leaders, I'm trying to see like what do they need? How can I help contribute to this so that they fulfill them? So that's really what I'm trying to do here, is making sure that I'm going to those spaces and seeing like how can we make sure that we help your specific group be more civically engaged too. So that's my background, and yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about the next topic of getting local youth involved too. So I just wanted to start off by like asking, as an organization, the League of Women Voters, have you like done any like outreach to any like youth like leaders, or like leaders that like work primarily with the youth, to like get an insight of what they do? Just get some foundation.
We tried.
Go
I don't
for
know. Yeah, and I know Dawn probably
Go
has some
for it,
thoughts
Diane.
about that. Go ahead. Do you have some thoughts about that, Dawn?
Go for it.
Well, no, and so not as extensively as I think we feel that we want to or should. I mean, as a national organization, there's some energy in that direction, even statewide. And we tried to do things, but as you can tell, looking at the demographic of the people here, we're all, and we do have an extensive membership. I think we have 50 members, and there are some younger folks, but not as much. I mean, we try to get into the schools, we do a presentation at BOCES on an annual basis. We have this program that Dawn kind of is our champion with, called Students Inside Albany, which I'm sure you're probably familiar with. She's probably hit you up with some of the
Oh, well, literally, I was picking up plaques for her, and she literally said, without those plaques, none of this would be possible.
Yeah.
I literally I helped save this thing according to her.
So, but I don't know, anybody else have thoughts
Did you
about?
talk extensively about what you do with SUNY Poly on writing for youth? And
Yeah, so essentially like what I was mentioning, like a college student. So I presented at NVCC, Utica University, and then actually 2 presentations for the SUNY Student Assembly. They had like leadership conferences and last fall. They had one on civic engagement, and then one was like a general leadership conference, but I still believe that's like still important for like civic engagement. Like for those presentations, I was mainly like giving like the intro of like what civic engagement is about, why it's important, and then talking about voting, why that's important as well, and ways that they could participate on campus, like as a student when it comes to getting involved in clubs and organizations, to meet people and network with others. So how they can essentially like build that sense of community on campus and bring that wherever they're going too. And I think that's one important thing, is like as civic engagement is really essentially building that sense of community and belonging in different ways here, as I laid out in the beginning with my Changemaker projects. Like there's so many ways you could do that too. So it's really about like how is it that we can build like a sense of community wherever we're going, so that people know that, hey, we can rely on each other if we need help with something.
Donna, Donna
Can I just respond to that? One of the things I have noticed as a seasoned, because I am not claiming being old person, that when it comes to advocacy, civic engagement, those issues tend to resonate with folks that seem to be in that demographic. It seems that it's more well received, and in terms of, I guess, it's interesting in finding a way to cultivate that enthusiasm among younger folks who will pass that on. And one of the things that I would say about Aaron's greatest strength is that he's like a chameleon. He is able to blend in effectively with all different kinds of groups. He effectively works with various populations and collaborates. And when he talks about he spoke to students, leaders, he's really being modest. He spoke to over 450 SUNY and CUNY leaders that resonate within those colleges' population. And they've asked him to come back. I think for us, and even with the students inside Albany, students, the challenge is to get them to come back with that message. So for us, I think it has to do a lot more with maybe trying to frame a different proactive kind of program, you know? But then part of me says, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. I can advocate, I can tell folks what programs we have, but unless they have a vested interest, so to speak. So I guess that's where I'm at.
Donna, you have something.
The biggest, excuse me, the biggest vested interest is to vote. I've been to one of your talks where you had the kids with registering and all. So we go to university to register kids, to talk about the voting. I know there's a Democrat and a Republican club there. We've done it at BOCES was a bid, we got a lot of kids to register. And because you can register under 18, although you don't vote till 18. So that was kind of important to let them know about voting. The very first time that Dawn and I ever did MVCC, there were kids that had no idea when the election was, what it was about. Oh, is Obama running? What? This was in the middle of a thing, I mean, am I right?
Yes?
So now we're finding that with civics, with teaching them, with being there, our other big one was MVCC, when the clubs all met. And so we had a register table there. And we got a lot of kids to register. And the diversity was obvious. So that was an important thing, you know, to us. But to get people to register and to get people to vote is like our main purpose.
Erin, I'd be interested in knowing, sort of what drove you, to reach what, I mean, was there something in your family life growing up, or something that struck you that this is the direction, this is the importance, this is how you want to use your talents?
Yeah, so essentially, like I was part of the Junior Frontiers, and we did a lot of like volunteering activities in the community. I was also part of my church and in school, like did a lot of volunteering activities too as well. And that's like important to really like get a sense of like what's the issues are happening in the community, and like how can I like help contribute to that. Even if it's for like a couple hours, like each event that I do, it's still good because I can at least get exposed to what's happening in the community and be able to like meet the other volunteers and meet the event leaders to like connect and see like, hey, how does this all work? Like, are you doing any more projects in the future as well? So it's really going back to like networking where we're interacting with each other here too. Like you also, I think what's also important is to like give like the youth an opportunity to like network with those leaders there too, and let them know saying, hey, I find this pretty interesting. You're doing more events coming up. Like I'd like to help out even more. So that was like one thing too that really like helped me out here too. Another incentive also is that as a high school student, it was good for scholarships too. That's all. It's like, well, if you also want to motivate students to be civically engaged, then let them know about scholarships too. Because in college, when I was a rising sophomore, there was an organization called Panda Care Scholars that's under the umbrella of the United Negro College Fund, and it was about like make sure you have good academics and good GPA, and also have good community service hours as well, and be able to like describe them. And when I did that and I applied, they said, yes, Aaron, you're in. And I'm like, okay. So that helped like bring down the cost of college by a lot, so that I didn't have to take out any student loans. Like I literally graduated with no student loan debt at all. So, and that was because those scholarships like helped bring the cost out enough so that my family could be able to afford it too. So another thing that you can also do is let them know, saying like, hey, if you become civically engaged early on, there's scholarships, like tons of scholarships too, out there that you can apply as a high school student, and even as a college student, to help bring your cost of college down too. And those programs, especially Panda Care, is like they had like professional development activities that we could do. So it wasn't just like here's your money and that's it. They really like helped show like here's how you can like network with people even more, how you can develop that professional development skills too. So even like those scholarship organizations that keep in touch with you is very important too. And also provide a all expense paid free trip to Disney World in Florida. I did not expect that. That was like a surprise. I'm like, oh. Okay, so I get money. So I went to Disney World because I did community service. Okay, that's exactly. So that's what you want to do. It's like you want to find like incentives of like what is like the youth like interested in, like whether it's networking, building that network, or getting money for college, or like building that professional development skills.
Well, I think, you know, it's interesting because it's the tangible benefit. I mean, I think when we talk about wanting people to vote and register, it's all well and good, and people understand conceptually why that's important. But if you don't see if people don't feel the fairly, I don't know if immediate, but some sort of tangible benefit, it doesn't become as high of a priority. But things like you're saying, you know, or how do you frame the importance of registering and voting and being involved into something that is going to make people feel it's worth their time and what they're gonna get out of it, other than this, we're gonna make a better world.
And especially the thing, and, okay.
Yeah.
Did like the scholarships and people for the scholarships, did they like find you or like did you like find them? Like do you think that you would like be able to partner up with them to like kind of like help like college students like aim towards and doing more community service because they would get like those scholarships, or like would you think that they would have to show it themselves?
Yeah, so what Nora was saying for the, who may not have heard, her, she was asking him about the scholarship process and just how does that,
Yeah.
some of that work, and I'm sure that's something that is very much on your.
Yeah, well, it definitely varies with like the scholarships, and again, going back to like networking relationships, like also working with my guidance counselor too as well. Like my guidance counselor when I was at the charter school was like really helpful with helping me search for like, there's a scholarship here, there's a scholarship there too, so it's like, all right, look at the requirements, I pretty much qualify for this, let me apply for this too. So, like with Panda Care Scholars, like in the June Frontiers, like one of the co-directors like shared that out with the alumni and said, hey, there's a scholarship out here for community service, you should definitely look into this. So I looked into it and I said, yeah, I apply, I meet the requirements, so I applied and I got it. So it was also like a mix of me looking for them while also people in my own network like sharing those things with me too.
So would you think high school students would get more civically engaged in their community and stuff if they knew about those scholarships?
I believe it, yeah, I definitely believe so, especially for those students who like want to go to college and want to help bring down the cost. Like definitely, as I said with the guidance counselors, like those are like your best resources, like the best resource for you to help. Like, hey, I want to get into college. I want to look for scholarships here. This is who I am as a person. So when I was like growing up, like when I was going to high school, like June Frontiers was telling me, saying, hey, meet with your guidance counselors like as much as you can. Like have them get to know you so that when the time comes when you apply for scholarships and like SATs and making sure you have the academic resources, that they know who you are. So it's really like when you're in school, you want to be able to build those relationships with your guidance counselors who can then like know about you and some things about you and help give you the resources to go to college and pay for it.
And can I just interject? I'm sure that when Aaron is finished with his presentation at the end, I'm sure he'll be more than happy to meet with you and let you know of some local organizations that you can key into and in high school around here that will help.
Thank you.
So stick around.
And she really kind of makes a good point though. I mean, I think that kind of I don't want to put words in your mouth, but if more kids knew that if they were more civically involved, that this could lead to something, and how do you let them know that? You know, how do they know that?
Yeah, it's
You know, I mean, the connection has to be there somehow.
Yeah.
Either through a guidance counselor or, you know,
A mentor.
a mentor, a key club or something, you know, in high school or whatever, you know, that are out there doing leadership programs, student council, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, my guidance counselor was definitely also pretty
Yeah.
informative with the volunteering stuff, like even coordinating like fall and spring cleanups. Those
Right.
are like good with like helping our environment too as well. So they also like, in addition to scholarships, also help like let us know, saying, hey, here's a community service project that we could do here too. So it's really about like connecting with those educators and letting them know, saying, hey, here is a project that we're doing and we would like to get like some youth from your school involved. Would you like to share this with them? Yeah, it's like, so it's also working with, in partnership with like the school leaders to let them know about this and see like, is this something that we can get like your students involved in?
Can I just say one thing about community service? And with the term community service, because I've been a director of programs for youth, it has a direct disconnect on what part of the environment you are in and where you are. Because sometimes when people are serving community service, they did not necessarily volunteer. right? They are serving community service because they're either gonna get suspended, they're going to family court, or they have other things. So sometimes the disconnect, that when kids hear community service, they're not incorporating it with positive attributes, like, oh man, you got busted doing something, now you have to serve your time doing something else. With something else, and the other discernible difference, I would say, with Aaron, he's probably not an anomaly, but with a lot of folks,
Working the Salvation
he has
Army.
parents that have done community service, are part of the community, and have been recognized by official elected leaders. His mother got a citation from Joe Griffo for the work that she's done on a variety of things. So I think sometime when you have people that are civically minded, that becomes a way of life.
So maybe it's framing that whole,
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point, because you hear community services, but how do you frame that opportunity differently so that people aren't feeling like, it's a more positive.
Yeah, not being like, oh, I'm punished for something.
Yeah,
and I have to
right,
do 20
right.
hours of community service because the judge said so.
Yes.
All that stuff too as well. It's like, yeah, I totally get that,
Yeah.
what you're saying with that too. And also when she was talking about your family background, that's also important too, like how you're being raised, how each kids are being raised by their parents and like what they do too as well is another factor to consider as well.
Let's Nancy and Carol.
I've also watched a couple of your videos. You've made videos on different topics, which are discussions mostly. So it's not like he's there lecturing, but they're interesting. Are you still making those?
So I do them with Will Javion. He's been doing like a lot of work travel and because part of his job is as an international missions counselor, so he's been like going to different countries. So his schedule has been a little tight lately, but of course he's also the civic engagement chairperson for the NAACP right now. So of course trying to like see what his vision is going forward with this is something to keep in mind. But that's still important, like with the digital videos, that's still like important, even thinking about like what more topics that we could talk about and how we could like, okay, let's.
Right, it was like how to run for an office.
Yeah.
I saw, was what I watched.
Yeah.
That would be a way to really get your word out and get more
Absolutely.
recognition.
Carol and then Aaron.
Okay. You want me to-
Yeah, go ahead.
Just wondering if you work with On Point, because not only the scholarships, but they help people get to the college, and they give them all kinds of services, like babysitting even.
I don't work directly with On Point, but I did actually speak with like an advisor there as well as the director Kevin Markin there, because as part of the Changemaker project I was talking about earlier, I wanted to like say like, okay, what like summer orientation programs that you're doing, and they're actually going to be doing a summer orientation in a couple of months too, and I told the advisor, say, hey, let me know like what dates you're doing like the civic engagement components of it, and what kind of topics that you'd be interested in me coming in to talk about. So that's like one like outreach that I'm like doing with them too. But that's a good point, like what you mentioned with the scholarships and the college prep work, like seeing like, hey, see like if you can help like students with finding like the civic service scholarships there too.
And Ann, I know Ann wanted to ask
Oh,
something.
I had a couple of questions. How far out do you go as far as speaking?
I'm pretty well, yeah, like in terms of like range.
Distance.
Yes, range, yeah,
Oh.
areas, I mean, Oneida County.
Oh yeah, well yeah, like I said, so far I've done MVCC and Utica University, and then
Okay.
the SUNY Student Assembly Leadership Conferences. There was one in Albany, and then there was another one in Syracuse. So pretty much in the upstate New York. So
Well, my
far,
niece is
yeah.
a counselor in, well, she was at the high school, she's going to the junior high now. But she is very active with her students. And I just was wondering, because I would give her your name if you would be speaking in that area at all. I didn't know.
Yeah, we'll definitely share his contact information with the group for folks who
And
want to.
where did you work at? Where did you go at MVCC? I work at MVCC.
So I was there just like for one time doing a presentation for the summer EOP students there during their Equal Opportunity Program.
Okay.
That's what it stands for. It's essentially helping like the students like during the summer like get accustomed to the college environment, and interesting enough, the SUNY system has a civic discourse requirement that they're going to be implemented next year, and so in that case, for the general like requirements, the general education, they're going to like put some civic discourse topics in there.
Yeah.
So that's like, yeah. But then the counselor told me, said, yeah, this is civic engagement is a required component for the program here for the summer.
I think we were talking before about civic, they don't teach civics in school anymore.
Not specifically, you're
Not
right, yeah.
specifically,
And that's
yeah.
why
Well, and I think
everybody's
that'd be
so
interesting, I mean,
unsuited.
that's the civics bee thing, which.
Yeah, so they
is
understand,
testament
they
to that, yeah.
get the steps, you know?
Yeah, and essentially like, or even like, let's say they do teach civics, but there's like when I was growing up in high school, like the civics I was taught was like the structures and institutions of government, like our 3 branches of government and the Constitution, which is important, which is very important because you want to know like if anyone's trying to violate any constitutional rules, you want to be able to know like if they're violating our civil rights and stuff. Like, hey, listen, this is not okay. So that's very important. But if we're talking about the other things like the practical aspects of like being engaged, like we're talking about collaborating with people and understanding information that you're seeing, and also being able to collaborate and mobilize together, all those things, like that's another important civics topics, and that's another like reason I'm developing that Changemaker project, is because I want to be able to expand people's minds on how we talk about civics. That's not just like one specific framework.
Right.
And Karen, you had something you wanted to ask?
Yeah, would you have any suggestions about starting a community service project on a smaller scale? In the sense that, you know, there's not a big picture of what someone's going to gain, you know, by doing this project. I guess it's more of a sense of responsibility type of approach, personal responsibility, so to speak. And I know you were, you know, this is all about civics and knowing what your government does and how you can be a voice in that and participate and make things change. But would you have any suggestion how to start, you know, something on a smaller scale, where it's community-based, I guess, but I'm just thinking, you know, there's not a tangible thing that someone can receive. I mean, what I'm saying is trying to build character and that type of thing. Just
Yeah.
on a smaller scale.
So
I know, and Lori, you had some thoughts about that too?
Well, and I'm thinking, at one point, I went out as part of the League of Women Voters and talked to people about voting, but voting, it wasn't happening on the local scale. People always get excited about national voting, but not on the local scale. And when I went out to talk to them, and I think that the arrangement for the speaking was through Community Action Center, people really had no idea at a local level what the politicians at the local level did. So right there is, I think, a great way to start people's civic engagement.
yeah, definitely. When it goes back to the structures of our government too, like we pay so much attention, like even in school we pay so much attention to the national level too, but as you said, like what goes on at the local level, even the state level too, how does that all work too as well? So it's really, that's important to help people understand so that when they want to get involved in those things, they know like how it all works and how it all functions too. And like your point, it sounds like when it comes to making a project, like have this inherent desire to like I want to help my community be better because if it becomes better, then we all become better essentially. Like we all like have this like stake involved here too, where it's like, oh, I see this one group being successful, another thing to help benefit our community, then that's good for me too, because we all have this like desire to like help our community improve, but it's also a matter of like when it comes to like working with other people on big or small projects, it's really about like, hey, your success is our success, so it's not like a matter of like who succeeds at it first. It's a matter of like, okay, how can we get this one thing that we know will benefit the community done here too. So it's really like knowing like if you have a project idea, like why do you want to do it? Who do you need to talk to? Like who your stakeholders are? Like, so you can form a team, form a budget, and where like the location's gonna be and all that stuff too. So that you're all having like a good like collaboration and teamwork together.
The
So
way to get started, it's a good,
Yeah.
good
And when
outline.
I went to the national conference last year, there were a couple presentations by some league chapters in other parts of the country that have some very interesting youth. And I'd have to go back and look at the notes, but where they were getting embedded in within the city councils or, you know, school, some of those kinds of things, that was a much more involved than just attending a meeting. It was real, so it might be interesting to kind of revisit, look, I've got notes and information about those, and maybe that's something that, you know, could reach out to some of our common council representatives, or I know we've had some connections with different levels of government locally to sort of bring that to light in a more significant way that's tangible.
How about for running for elections?
Right,
For them to learn what a candidate.
right, and it sounds like that's some of the kind of
We need good
presentation you're
candidates.
doing.
Younger good candidates.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's good like to partner with like public officials. There's like of course we gotta hold them accountable with what they're doing and making sure they're following rules and stuff, but it doesn't also mean they can't be a resource for us to understand how our government works too, and also let like the young people know, say, hey, this space is for you too. Like, we also want to drown out the voices that are telling them like you don't belong here or you don't know anything too as well, because that will really discourage them from being involved too. And it's like, well, if they need to know more about this, then just provide that helping hand. Like, be polite, be friendly, as we tell children growing up, like have good manners when it comes to like letting them know, say, hey, you can come in and you can see what's going on here, and that this is a space that you can be in.
Feel part of that. Well, I don't want to cut us off. It's a great conversation, but I don't want to cut us off. Are there any closing? And I don't know. I don't know if Nora, if you wanted to say anything about what you've done, or if you want to stand up maybe and a little bit about your thoughts. All right. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but hey, if you're going to be
well, one thing if you're going to be civilly engaged, you're going to be
yes,
definitely. Like, this is good practice right now.
Definitely.
Hi, so my name is Norma Perdomo. I'm currently in John F. Kennedy in 8th grade. I'm going to be a freshman next year. I'm currently in the Young Scholars programs where I do community service. Last year I did, the requirements for like community service and Young Scholars was like 15 hours, or you could do more in middle school. But for high school you would do 30 or more. And so last year I did 20 and more, 22 I think. And so this year I want to also do more because I feel like community service is a really big thing for like colleges and like the college applications and stuff. And it's a great way to show that you're involved in your community and how you are like dedicated as a student to like help your fellow, I don't know how to say this, your fellow like members of your society and stuff. And so yeah, as you mentioned, community service is a great way to like show like colleges and stuff how you're good at scholarships. And so my scholars mentor, she showed me about
You're part of Young Scholars, is that correct? Yes, for those who may.
So she showed me about the National Civics Bee and how you have to do an essay for it, and I was really interested. So I like decided to like make a presentation. It was about international migration crisis, and I went and spoke to them about. I got in, and so I went to go and spoke to them at SUNY Poly. And it was a great way to like express my voice and opinion about what's happening in my community currently. And so, yeah, I feel like civic engagement is a really important thing, like for students to like really get involved in for like their future, like for like it's really good in all aspects generally. So yeah.
We'll have to get you connected up with our Students Inside Albany program.
That's right.
Dawn
Here
will
we
be
go.
reaching out
That's
to you.
right. Come to the dark side.
I would love
to.
Contact information should be shared with everybody in the league, because there are people who are interested in
I can share. I'll share with
student
everybody.
and youth activities, and you know, maybe they can hook up and
Yeah, you have my
figure
card
something
right
out, you know.
there.
I-
Yeah, you have my card
I
right
have-
there.
I just
Yeah,
One
any
about
specific
your
ideas
sister.
you wanna let me know, I'm perfectly good with
Yeah.
that, yeah.
I feel like if like your idea, I feel like one way you could start to get like students engaged is by going to like their counselors and like telling them, because like my mentor, right, like we have like the community service sheet and stuff, and so people want to do community service, and like if like they wanted to organize how much they did, or like what they actually did. I feel like it could be a great way is to like tell their counselors and like write down like what they did, so they can like show proof, or like not proof, but like just to like show like they actually did the community service and stuff. Because like young scholars, I feel like they do that, but like not the counselors, like in the school gym. So,
No, I think you're, and I think you're a reflection of your family. I mean, it's certainly you wouldn't, you
my
know,
mom
have this.
she was a high school math teacher in one country, so yeah.
Oh, okay, wow, good for you.
Very good, yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you, and congratulations, and we'll be rooting for you.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
thank you.
Okay, so before people disappear, and y'all do that
Dawn,
very
what's the
well, of course, would you come right up there so we can take a picture of everybody with the family? That's right, everybody, come on up. See, I'm not the shy, retired one, okay?
She's known as a community photographer.
Yes, I
She's, wherever she is,
Here,
always.
Dawn, here.
am. Ready to
Okay.
do. Okay,
Let's get
okay.
our,
Good,
sure we got
wait,
our
we have our banner.
Oh, wait, no, that's not straight.
Oh, yeah, the banner.
Okay,
Let's
see,
start this
there we
up.
go.
Are we good?
No,
No,
It's a table.
no, the blue is really bad.
Pull it the
No,
other
no, no,
way.
I can see the other way.
The table's
That's
crooked.
that's being more to the left.
see, this is why we have him here, for civic engagement. He is, besides plaques, he is saying this. Now, who was responsible, is anybody was responsible for working on the civic thing?
Of course, I
Sharon's
moved the
not
movie
here.
camera.
She was the only
I
one?
moved the movie camera, it's all
Who
rubber
did the
now.
judging? I think there were a couple.
Nancy, you didn't do judging or anything?
No, Sharon did judging.
No, Sharon was the only one.
Yeah.
Okay, so Diane, by default, you get to step in.
Default.
Diane default.
Wait, hold on. Wait, I gotta make my camera. I'm not Tom, folks, so do not expect perfection, okay?
Woo-hoo.
We all can't be Tom, but I can make sure the heads are not cut off. Okay, so Aaron,
Yeah, let's get
hop
Aaron
over. Karen, hop in.
Okay.
That way we multitask. We get civic engagement and whatever. And there we go. Nancy, you got a League of Women
Squish.
Voters shirt. Pop in, that's a great visual.
Gonna need the wide angle on this one.
There we go, all right? That is
Karen, squish more.
it. Okay, y'all gotta move in a little bit closer. We're gonna make sure we get the flag and the thing. This is what happens. You got them, Tom?
Got it?
Okay, here for the information with you. And I just want to take a quick plug for civic engagement. Those raffles don't sell themselves, okay? Before y'all leave, we need people to buy raffles, folks. Come on.
Buy one.
That's right.
Thank you
I
so
don't want
much.
to get too
Good
free.
luck to you.
Did you have a question?
Oh, you have to watch me. I'm gonna put $5 in this envelope for my tickets. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna watch me put my $5 and I'm gonna take my tickets. Okay.
Yeah, I do the students inside. Do you know how?
Yeah. Yep.
How about Peters?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do. Is it? Oh, okay, I do a lot of work with Holla.
Well, good. Well, thank you again so much. Appreciate it, and I stay connected.
Hi, nice to see you.
You know, there's a lot of work
Okay,
you're doing,
yes.
obviously.
My nephews are from
And plus,
Nigeria.
I'm sure like you are connected with people that I'm actually too.
Well, and I can
And that's important too.
Okay, I'm
Especially
going.
like you might like whatever we
Excuse me,
know,
Karen,
as long
come
as
on,
you're
you
sharing
can-
that, like that's how we can.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much for inviting me. I'm happy to talk behind something else that comes to mind.
Okay, definitely.
And as I said with the Patriots Project, as I'm like getting that stuff finalized, I'll
Yeah,
keep you
and that's,
posted on it.
yeah,
I'll keep you posted on it.
definitely, because that would be really.
Well, so far, it's
I wanna see your
posted on
masterpiece.
JD on Dawson.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
YouTube
very
channel.
nice.
So you can type up the
college, and they're starting in high school, helping you get scholarships and things.
All right.
Think you get the lead, right? Thank you.
Yeah. Questions? Yeah, if we're going to discuss it. I don't know if you have questions.
Yeah.
Is she from Kenya?
I was from the Sierra,
Yeah.
whatever.
Sierra Leone?
Yes, she's the one that runs Utica Royalties.
Oh, okay. Because I have an aide by that name.
Oh, do you? Oh, okay.
It does. No, you're,
And she worked with a kid all year.
thank you. Is that, oh, okay.
He did, but he got accepted.
All right, we'll move on with our,
This raffle basket is looking anemic.
we'll get it.
Give to it, okay, before you leave.
We will, before we draw, we'll make sure.
Anemic, I love
We need a
that.
blood transfusion over here.
Okay, well, we'll get on with the business portion of our meeting. Not nearly as exciting as our presentation, but that's part of how civic responsibility works, I guess. We could all say we know that, but, you know, oh, you're okay, Nora, don't worry about it. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll connect you with some people. Okay.
Hey, could you bring, excuse me, could you bring me a cup, please?
Coffee.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, so another young person that Dawn was hoping would be able to attend, but perhaps must not have been able to. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about, is it Jalen?
Jaden. Okay, so what I'm gonna just say very briefly, I guess, I know he had his prom today, so maybe he got his hours mixed up. I'm not gonna say much about Jaden because the contact information and his bio should be in the upcoming fall one. That's when I guess Sharon put it in.
The newsletter?
Exactly. But the bottom line is, he was another tremendous candidate that applied for students inside Albany, Merit Scholarship. He's done lots of civic engagements, Broadway, Utica, library page, editor, focus on various issues. And besides getting a ton of plaques, courtesy of our county executive, I love when they do it, if we draft them. He was excited, and I presented him an opportunity. He's getting his bachelor's degree in politics and theater, and he's going to be interning with Congressman Mannion. So we got another one that we have sent along the way.
Very nice.
So like I said, just look for it in the fall.
Yeah, well, and I think hearing about young people along those lines, whether they're middle school, high school, college, or post-grad, doing other things in the community, I hope, maybe it can give us all a little bit of hope, positive, sense that maybe there is some, there's some young blood that will infuse our future.
Our future energy, and if anybody remembers Trin Trong, who was at Proctor, she just finished up her first year of law school at Yale, so she's looking forward to finish up her second year and continue. So we have been very proactive in providing opportunities for folks to network with legislators on both sides of the scale. I don't want folks just to think that we're only connecting them with Democrats. They have managed to be aligned with other folks as well.
Yeah.
We do strictly endorse nonpartisan, but after doing these internships and opportunities, they've just been graced to have opportunities.
Well, and there's a number of young people I think that have gone through either things that we've been involved with, or we've had some connection with, who are still have some local involvement in this community. And maybe that's something when we talk about civic engagement, maybe we sponsor some sort of event where we bring in some of this young talent that is here locally and kind of do something. It's just something, it might be something to think about that we might want
Well,
to.
think about what the audience should be for that. too.
Exactly, definitely.
If that's something you might even want to do at a high school.
I agree. Yeah, definitely not something that we, exactly.
Not just for us.
No, I agree. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, more of a community, but who do we really want to tap into? So it's just something to think about. So, good. All right, thank you, Dawn. Didn't make copies of the minutes from our last meeting, but I did send them out. If we could have a motion, if hopefully people had a chance to look at them, if we could have a motion to accept the minutes that would have been from our March meeting that we held. Ann would move, and is there a second? Nancy, did anybody notice any changes? Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, good. So now among the handouts that I did have, there is a front and back handout. One side is the slate of officers, and then the other side is the budget. So we'll be voting on these items. So the first thing is we're going to, I don't know what the protocol is. I probably should know this. Is this something that the nominating committee brings to the floor? And so Meg is Meg is representing the nominating committee.